Hello TFL Classic. Today I'm going to tell you why you need to go out and buy yourself an old Toyota Starlet right now. This may just look like any standard old economy hatchback, but Toyotas, they weren't just like everyone else at the time. They had a little bit of a secret recipe. Well, not quite so secret, everyone else called it outdated, but it's actually a benefit. You see, this car is not front wheel drive. In the front, we've got a little 1.3 litre overhead valve engine mated to a 5-speed manual transmission, and it feeds the rear wheels through a TRD limited slip differential. This makes for a really fun ride. While the engine may only produce around about 60 horsepower, it's more than enough. This car weighs 700 kilograms, so it actually goes almost like a rocket. It's kind of like a go-kart on wheels. The common swap for these vehicles is to go and put a 4H or even a 3SGE engine in. But you'll actually find that the original K-series engine is a more than capable beast. This particular one has been converted to fuel injection using manifolds from a Japanese domestic market Starlet. You'll also find that the United States domestic market Starlet came from the factory with fuel injection. We didn't have that luxury here in New Zealand. Here we have a view of the interior of the car. As you can see, it's a traditional layout as per any other small car of the era. The driver's seat's actually in pretty good condition under the cover, and the cover's just to protect it because I drive the car quite often. As you can see, we've got a rev counter on the dash, got an original radio, 5-speed manual transmission, and the standard climate control of the era. We have no air conditioning on this one, and we have no power steering. And you can see we've got what looks like a bottle holder in the back, but it's actually to hold cassette tapes. It holds 8 cassettes absolutely perfectly. So another thing that I have with the car is a super rare toolbox, a genuine Toyota motor toolbox. I use it to store my tools, some manuals and some spare parts. So here I've got the factory tool roll, got a multimeter, torch and knife, and a couple of manuals. So the factory tool roll is actually rather comprehensive. I'll open it up and show you. So within the factory tool roll we have the following items. We have double-ended reversible screwdriver, so it's got Phillips and flat, spark plug removal tool, pliers, full set of spanners, lug nut removal tools, and wheel chock. These tools are actually pretty much all you need to work on one of these cars. And under the hatch carpet we find that there's actually a full-size spare wheel, and this one's still sporting the original spare tyre. It's done about 50 kilometres in its life. And here is a collection of brochures that I've managed to amass over my years of ownership of this vehicle. Just because you've always wanted to know, here's how many of the following items you can fit into the back of a Starlet wagon. 37 packets of dog food, 43 hats, 34 typewriters, 26 plants, 7 mats, 33 fire extinguishers, and 4 speaker sets. It's got 1300 litre carry capacity in the wagon and a 400 kg load, so that's pretty much a half a tonne. It's pretty much on par with all of your full-size pickups you get in the United States. Back in the late 70s and 80s, these Starlets were commonly used as rally cars, as evidenced by the brochures. Toyota was really trying to sell on this fact. These cars could really fly and they were great fun. What you'll find, if you have this model, the Sprint, you'll be the smartest, fastest lady in town. So you've probably had enough of me talking. I guess you want to see this car in action. So I'll turn the camera around and show you what the LSD does on a bit of gravel. Right, I don't want to devalue the car too much by doing too many skids in it, so I think that's all you guys are going to get. I recently rebuilt the engine on this car. I had a small sump gasket leak for years and I finally decided to do something about it. When I pulled the sump off, I discovered that a couple of the engine's bearings were a bit worn, so I decided to replace the bearings and do the rings at the same time. When I pulled the engine apart, I found that two of the pistons were cracked, so I just kept going. In the end, I replaced all four pistons, the rings, the rod bearings, the connecting main bearings, the crankshaft was reground, and I fitted a very mild aftermarket camshaft just to give it a bit more mid-range power. Right, I don't want to devalue the car too much by doing too many skids in it, so I think that's all you guys are going to get. I mean, as you can see, it's just a really fun car to have. It does everything that a new car does. It doesn't really have all the safety features, but it's really good on fuel. These things will do 6 litres per 100 k's all day, every day. A little bit more around town maybe, a little bit less on the open road, but it's an all around really good car. You guys should really snap one up as soon as you can because they're getting harder to find and people are starting to realise the value of them. At the moment they're still really quite cheap for what they are. Hope you enjoyed, thank you for watching.